Chapter 615 Invincible. Kong Deming couldn't just be described as astonished now. He was completely horrified as he looked at Huo Yuao. He retreated almost instantly and widened the gap between them. This person's control of spatial power has actually reached such a standard. He managed to seal all the surrounding space in just an instant earlier. The Silver Moon Divine Light Barrier taps into spatial power. No matter how strong an attack is, it can be directed into space. However, this person managed to seal all the surrounding space and prevented the Silver Moon Divine Light Barrier from escaping. After this, he relied on his unprecedentedly strong spiritual power to tear the barrier apart. If Kong Deming wasn't quick enough, his natal soul tool would have been completely destroyed. If that had happened, he would have been critically hurt. Huo Yuao didn't even take a look at Kong Deming. His attention was all on Ju Zi. I should be asking you why instead. Why? Ju Zi, tell me why. I trusted you, but you betrayed my trust. You started a war just as I was in closed-door cultivation. Huo Yuao's voice was very low-pitched. However, every word that came from his mouth generated a weird spiritual undulation. Right now, the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineer Legion had gathered. They encircled him, Tang Wutong and Daihao. When those in Dalu City saw Huo Yuao appearing, they were all extremely delighted after a momentary shock. Perhaps the others couldn't sense Huo Yuao's condition. However, Elder Sun could tell that his abilities were already way above his. This meant that Huo Yuao was already an ultimate Douluo. Furthermore, Huo Yuao definitely had a third soul core. This was because he couldn't have become an ultimate Douluo without one. Even though Elder Sun didn't know how he had done it, he saw hope right now. Sun's Wen, fire stationary interference shells. Those from Shrek and the Tang Sect. Follow me to receive Yuao and Wutong. Elder Sun instructed. Everyone from the Tang Sect was already very eager. They immediately flew out from Dalu City towards Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong. Ju Zi was in a daze as she looked at Huo Yuao. However, she didn't step back. Why? Why did you tell me you'd been closed door cultivation for a long time? Did you know that I didn't dare to start a war with you around? Why? Alright, I'll tell you why. You should know why I chose to marry Shu Tianran. I did it for revenge. I did it to avenge my parents. It's him. As she spoke, she pointed at Daihao. He's the person who killed my father. It's him. He led his troops and occupied our land. It was his soldiers who killed my father. My mother died of sorrow. My family was broken up because of him. He made me an orphan. I only lived for revenge. I lived to kill him. If you didn't let me start a war, I'd need to wait for 10 years. I can't wait for 10 years. Did you know? I'm afraid of you. You're too strong. I wasn't afraid of how strong the Daluo and Doling empires would be in 10 years. How can Soul Tool technology be caught up to so easily? But I was afraid of you. I was afraid that you'd become stronger. You were already so strong. I've personally seen you reach the abilities of an ultimate Douluo. How much more powerful will you be in 10 years? I can't judge. When that happens, won't you stop me if I try to start a war? How can I take revenge if you intervene? How can I kill my enemy? This was why I went back on my word. If I can kill him. So what if you kill me? Yuao, let me do it. Let me kill him. If you do so, I won't touch Daluo City anymore. Since you're back, I can give up on Daluo City. However, Daihao must die. He has to die. When she finished, Ju Zi was already hysterical. Her entire body was shaking tremendously. There was only boundless hate in her eyes. Huo Yuao looked at her coldly. Ju Zi, I didn't expect you to become like this. For your own selfish reasons, you started a war in the continent. You went back on your promise. There's no need to say anything else. Pull your troops back immediately and lead them back to the Sun Moon Empire. Return the territories that belong to the Heavenly Soul Empire, Doling Empire, and Daluo Empire. Otherwise, I'll spare no one. So what if I massacre your empire? That's right. You're right to be afraid. I'm back. I won't let the Sun Moon Empire rule the continent. Joke. Kong Deming was so furious that he started laughing. Ignorant kid, do you think you can change the entire war just by yourself? Even if we have to pay a price, you'll die here today. As he spoke, he lifted his right hand, and the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineer Legion immediately dispersed. They formed an arc and surrounded Huo Yuao. However, Huo Yuao seemed to ignore them. He turned around and shouted at everyone from the Tang Sect and Shrek Academy. Everyone, don't come over. Let me settle it. Bei Bei was anxious and was about to speak. However, Elder Sun stopped. He even opened his arms wide and stopped the rest from moving forward. Everyone, stop. Let Yuao settle this. Bei Bei was anxious as he said. Elder Sun, there are only two of them. The Sun Moon Empire. Elder Sun shook his head and replied, if numbers were the most critical factor, the three empires wouldn't have lost to the Sun Moon Empire. Don't forget that Huo Yuao is an ultimate soldier the Academy nurtured. Now, he's really an invincible ultimate soldier. Trust him. After listening to Elder Sun, everyone calmed down. However, they all turned to Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong. Huo Yuao looked coldly at Ju Zi. Silver lights flashed before he was already back at Tang Wutong's side. Similarly, he was beside Daihao. Huo Yuao. Daihao was a little astonished as he looked at him. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. Ever since the war began, Huo Yuao had vanished. Even those from Shrek Academy didn't know where he had disappeared to. When they saw him again, he was already so strong. This left the White Tiger Duke completely astonished. He had been re-signed to his fate. However, who knew that Huo Yuao would come to save him at such a critical moment? Furthermore, he felt very strange now. It felt as if Huo Yuao was a little different from how he was before. Huo Yuao looked calmly at the White Tiger Duke and nodded. He said, retreat first. I'll deal with things over here. There are some things we need to settle between us too. The White Tiger Duke was stunned. However, he still nodded. He didn't say anything further. He turned around and flew towards those from Shrek Academy and the Tang Sect. Ju Zi suddenly shouted, no, he can't go. He's not allowed to go. She knew that Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong were already back. If she missed this opportunity, she would probably not have a chance at revenge anymore. Just as Ju Zi roared furiously, the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineers' attacks began. Blinding lights instantly shot at Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong. There were close to 300 Class 8 Soul Engineers, guided and commanded by Elder Kong. Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong were completely drowned in the glaring lights. Ju Zi shook. Although she wanted to exact revenge, her heart still skipped a beat when she saw Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong engulfed by the lights. It was as if something terrifying was going to happen. Are they going to? Her worry only lasted for an instant. As the lights flashed, they silently vanished. A silver door quietly appeared in front of Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong, and all the attacks were devoured. No matter how strong the attacks were, what was the point if they struck nothing? Huo Yuao reacted in the same way as Kong Deming when facing the Daluo Empire Soul Masters. It was just that Huo Yuao's control of spatial power was clearly on a high tier. Kong Deming seemed to have sensed this. He ferociously lifted his right hand. This time, his Silver Moon Divine Light Barrier covered a larger area as it engulfed Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong. The silver door from earlier disappeared within the barrier. As a Class 10 Soul Tool, how could the concept behind it be so simple? Kong Deming could also seal space. Furthermore, he could seal a large region of space. Kong Deming was the most brilliant when it came to Soul Tool technology. He had always believed that one could control his own destiny. No matter how strong one was, he couldn't resist an attack that was too overwhelming. One could control space, but what if he lost that control? How could they possibly direct the attacks of 300 Class 8 Soul Engineers away? It was impossible. This was why he only had a simple goal, which was to kill Huo Yuao and Tang Wutong with the strongest attack while sealing the space around them. Close to 300 beams of light shone once again. However, they weren't aimed at Huo Yuao or Tang Wutong this time. Instead, they were aimed at Kong Deming. A strange silver armor suddenly shone on Kong Deming's body. This armor was like a mirror. On his chest, there was a huge gem which extended all the way from his chest to his belly. This gem was bright silver. After the lights behind Kong Deming surged into his body, they were quickly guided to that huge gem by the massive Silver Moon Divine Light Barrier. The bright silver lights made Kong Deming seem as if he were a small silver sun. The Sun Moon Empire's Soul Tool technology was so advanced. How could it possibly only have one simple trump card? Right now, Kong Deming was using another trump card. Yes, ordinary linked attacks were now useless after they were affected by the interference shells. However, Kong Deming didn't just unleash a simple linkage. It was a guided linkage. He was like an intermediary. He guided, compressed and fused the soul rays that the Soul Engineers fired before unleashing an extremely powerful attack. This involved very complicated knowledge of spatial control. Such an attack couldn't be replicated by anyone else. This was because it wasn't just enough for one to possess immense soul power and spiritual power. It was also critical for one to understand these powers. The human-shaped soul tools that the Soul Engineers wore were designed by Kong Deming. Along with his control of spatial power through his Silver Moon Divine Light Barrier, Kong Deming believed that his attack was already stronger than an ultimate Douluo. It wasn't even far-fetched that it was at the tier of gods. This was the strongest strike he could unleash. He had wanted to use it to deal with the ultimate Douluo in Douluo City. He didn't use it against Elder Sun earlier because he didn't want to kill him, and develop a deep enmity with Shrek Academy as a result of it. However, Hua Yuao and Tang Wutong both threatened the Sun Moon Empire now. Without any hesitation, Kong Deming immediately resorted to his final and most powerful trump card. A powerful attack was instantly unleashed. Hua Yuao was expressionless as he watched everything unfold in front of him. He was holding hands with Tang Wutong as they stood there. His left hand was lifted slightly in front of him. A strange layer of light appeared on his body. A jade green halo mixed with an icy blue light projection. In the distance, the golden sun which was originally there turned into a blue, circular moon. Yes, it was a full moon instead of a crescent. Unprecedentedly bright light shot out from Kong Deming's chest. It couldn't be described using colors anymore. When it appeared, heaven and earth dimmed. A terrifying force caused Juzi to exclaim. Even she didn't know about this trump card that Kong Deming possessed. It was so powerful that everyone was shocked. The sky instantly turned dark. It was as if nothing could challenge the brightness of this light. Kong Deming was already grinning. If this were classified as a soul tool, it had to be a class 11 soul tool. Yes, it was an unprecedented class 11 soul tool. In fact, Kong Deming could only unleash this strike once. This was because there was no material capable of containing such immense strength currently. It was not possible even if spatial power was used as a guide. Right now, when this beam of light was fired, the gem at the front of his chest was already crushed. Once it was fired, the gem expired. It was completely wrecked. However, Kong Deming's smile immediately froze. He couldn't believe his eyes. What did he see? It was as if the ice plains of the extreme north had appeared in front of him. Thick snow fell, and the ground was icy. There was a huge ice mirror. The mirror was dim blue, and emanated a gentle glow. In the sky, a full moon fell. It shone on this mirror, making it seem like a sparkling sapphire. The surface of the mirror was very smooth. The gentle glow was in contrast with the bright light that was approaching from afar. When the light shone on the mirror, it was reflected at a 45-degree angle. It was reflected away just like that. The reflected light was like a huge pillar that could support heaven and earth. It was reflected far away, and appeared boundless. Hua Yuao turned slightly pale. Behind him, two figures, one white and one green, silently appeared. They both stretched out their palms and placed them on his back. The temperature fell dramatically. Silver white frost started appearing on the body of every soul engineer from the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineer Legion. They started to lose control of their bodies, and weren't able to fly steadily in the air. This is impossible. Kong Deming lost his voice as he exclaimed. He had lost control of his emotions even given his status. He was not composed at all. The attack of a class 11 soul tool had been neutralized just like that. The other party had used very simple logic, that all light could be reflected. Bang, bang. Two loud explosions rang out. The gem in front of Kong Deming's chest and the ice mirror were crushed at almost the same time. They broke into smithereens. Happiness. Hua Yuao shouted. Following this, the blue moon turned back into a golden sun. The sky was shining bright with golden light. At the same time, a sonorous dragon roar was heard from Tang Wutong's mouth. She turned around and transformed into a giant purplish gold radiant dragon butterfly. This dragon butterfly supported Hua Yuao. After this, strong spiritual pressure was exerted from both her and Hua Yuao's bodies. A strange spiritual intent immediately engulfed the entire Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineer Legion. Their supposedly relentless attacks were halted just like this. Their bodies shone with blinding light, which obviously came from spiritual defensive soul tools. To build an invincible Soul Engineer Legion, the Sun Moon Empire had invested a lot of resources and effort into the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineer Legion. Every soul engineer from the Legion was equipped with a spiritual defensive soul tool. This was even proposed by Juzi. Right now, they indeed played a very critical role. However, while they could block the spiritual attack, they couldn't block out the emotional undulations that came with the spiritual attack. Anger. Another scream sounded. The 300 Soul Engineer Legions all shuddered at the same time. As they were influenced by emotions, they were struck by happiness and anger at the same time. Their soul power also became messy. They didn't even know what to do now. Their hands turned soft. Spiritual blast. Hua Yuao's cold voice echoed. The sky collapsed. Yes, it really felt as if the sky had collapsed when he shouted. A terrifying shockwave immediately spread. It was no longer just at the spiritual level. It was on a spatial level. The sky turned dark within the region of the spiritual blast. After this, the barrier started shaking. Not only this, but another golden sun shone behind Hua Yuao's back. It belonged to Tang Wutong. A singing voice echoed in front of the golden sun. After this, a second spiritual blast was unleashed. Two spiritual blasts were unleashed just like that. If Hua Yuao was the one unleashing both, there should at least be a gap between both spiritual blasts. Even the merfolk's duet couldn't achieve an overlapping effect on the second strike. However, things were different with Tang Wutong's spiritual power. Her spiritual power also came from three soul cores. Furthermore, it was even close to Hua Yuao's spiritual power. The spiritual blasts generated by the merfolk's duet achieved an unprecedentedly magical effect. The second blast was generated immediately after the first blast. Before the first wave passed, the second wave had already arrived. They overlapped, and their effects were enhanced. A deafening crushing sound was heard. The spiritual defensive soul tools that belonged to the soul engineers of the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineer Legion were crushed. After this, the helmets and human-shaped soul tools were crushed. Of course, there was still the Silver Moon Divine Light Barrier. Kong Deming wanted to stop Hua Yuao, but he couldn't do so. When he was prepared to control his Silver Moon Divine Light Barrier, a blinding beam of black light had already lit up in front of him. It wasn't overly huge, and was only 30 centimeters long. It was shaped like a black hammer. However, there was a weird black glow coming from this black hammer. When he saw this hammer, Kong Deming immediately sensed a potentially fatal pressure coming from it. This caused him to shudder. After this, the hammer struck the air not far away from him. The terrifying pressure caused him to lose his balance. He even lost control of his barrier as his body shook. At that instant, he only felt as if he had fallen into collapsed space. He could no longer control his body. His eyes were filled with horror. At this moment, he could only act to save himself. He retracted the cracked barrier again. It appeared in front of him and stabilized the space around him. Even though he was bleeding, he still managed to escape from the region engulfed by the clear sky hammer. 300 corpses fell from the sky. The battlefield was silent. Whether it was the Sun Moon Empire or those from the three empires, they believed that the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineer Legion no longer stood any chance of victory. Earlier, it was because of their involvement that the Douluo Empire fell so quickly. In the world of Soul Masters, the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineer Legion was legendary. However, this legend was taken down right now. It was as if it had ceased to exist. It was all because of two people. The Sun Moon Empire had lost its strongest pillar. The fate of this fight was sealed. Juzi was completely in a daze. Although she knew that Hua Yuao and Tang Wutong would become terrifyingly strong if they returned, she was still comforted by the fact that she had the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineer Legion. At least the Soul Engineer Legion shouldn't have any problem resisting them. However, her hopes were dashed now. Resist? How could they? Without linked soul tools, how could they possibly resist two ultimate Douluo? These two were even extraordinary ultimate Douluo. How? How did you manage to reflect my light? It's impossible. The strength of my Silver Moon Divine Light Ray has already transcended this world. It's already close to the strength of gods. Kong Deming was unconvinced. He was a little hysterical as he screamed at Hua Yuao. Hua Yuao looked coldly at him. This is because my ice mirror is at absolute zero. Absolute zero. Kong Deming was dazed. He had heard of such a concept, but didn't it only exist in myths? Even ultimate ice couldn't possibly reach such a temperature, forming an ice mirror at absolute zero before using it to reflect the ray. He was a little unconvinced as he asked again. If you resist it directly, you can't block it off even if you can reach absolute zero. Childish. Hua Yuao nodded scornfully. Why do I have to resist it directly? Don't tell me you are willing to resist my all-out attack directly. You have 300 people, but we only have 2. Our small tactic was enough to down all of them. If you can unleash that sort of attack 100 times, perhaps you can resist us. But for now, it's over. As he spoke, Hua Yuao looked into the sky. Tang Wutong, who was below him, also shone brightly with golden light. In the sky, 2 golden suns shone at the same time. They flashed alternately in the sky, turning the entire battlefield golden. Immense spiritual undulations engulfed the entire Sun Moon Empire army. Any slight movement was recorded. Sorrow. Who are you out called? Something strange happened. On the ground, all the soul tools in the soul formations started to melt. They turned into a golden metal fluid that spread on the ground. The feeling of sorrow didn't just affect people. It affected everything. This was the power of emotions. It was simple sorrow, but the entire world shook because of this. The soul formations that had been constructed seemed to vanish instantly. Who are you? I looked coldly at Juzi. Now, you shouldn't doubt my words, right? You should know that I can destroy your entire army. Return all the territories that the Sun Moon Empire has invaded and scram back to the Sun Moon Empire. If you do that, I'll spare their lives. Otherwise, prepare to witness their deaths. Juzi turned pale. When she saw the White Tiger Duke, who had already retreated far away, she knew that she probably wouldn't be able to avenge her parents' deaths. All her sacrifices and hard work over the years was wasted just like that. No, no, no. I want to take revenge. I want to take revenge. Juzi raged at Hua Yuao. That's right, you can kill all of us. So what if you can? I've already given the order. If the Sun Moon Empire's army is taken down here, the troops stationed in all the cities of the three empires will start a massacre of the civilians in those cities. We'll kill as many as possible. You are brilliant. However, can you save the entire continent? Can you? Thousands and thousands of people will have died because of you. If you kill millions from the Sun Moon Empire, I'll kill even more from the three empires. They'll die with us. If you don't let me take revenge, I'll vent all my anger and hatred on the entire continent. After hearing Juzi's hysterical words, Hua Yuao wasn't the only one whose expression changed significantly. The people from Shrek Academy, Douluo City, the Doling Empire, and the Heavenly Soul Empire were also all shocked. If Juzi really did that, the entire continent would be stained with blood. How terrifying would that be? Such a disaster was unimaginable. At least, no one here was willing to imagine it. Hua Yuao was furious. What are you talking about? Will you dare to do that? Juzi glared at him coldly. I can do anything for revenge. Don't think you won. Hand the White Tiger Duke over. As long as I kill him, I'll recall my troops. Douluo City can remain. I won't attack the city as long as you are alive. I've already gained control of the entire continent. I can do whatever I want. No matter how strong you are, you can't save the entire continent. Hua Yuao was already pale-green by now. That's right, he had managed to reverse the situation with his and Tang Wukong's immense abilities. Even though there were millions in front of him now, they were just cannon fodder to the two of them. However, Juzi was right. The Sun Moon Empire controlled most of the continent. Given this, Hua Yuao might be able to protect a few cities if she ordered a genocide. However, he wouldn't be able to protect the entire continent. It couldn't happen. Juzi. Hua Yuao shouted coldly. Juzi looked up and glared coldly back at him. At this moment, a figure flew out from Hua Yuao's back and came beside him. It was the White Tiger Duke. Dai Hao. If she wants to kill me, let her do it. As long as I can protect the countless lives on the continent, what's my life worth? Dai Hao said. Right now, there was a comforted look in his eyes. As the marshal, he had never expected someone to be able to change the entire course of a battle with his individual ability. Furthermore, he saw hope in Hua Yuao and Tang Wutong. He saw hope for the Douluo Empire. He still recalled Hua Yuao once telling him that he was from the Douluo Empire. Since this was the case, the Douluo Empire had a future. In the future, how could the empire not restore its glory under Hua Yuao's leadership? Juzi was very big with her words. She wanted to massacre everyone on the continent, but she might not be able to do it. Once he was dead, she might lack the motivation to do it too. Didn't she just want revenge? She could kill him. For the future of the empire and for the continent. He believed that his death was worth it. No. Hua Yuao shouted and grabbed the White Tiger Duke by the shoulder. He refused to let him fly over. After this, Hua Yuao's gaze turned deeper. His spiritual undulations engulfed the entire Sun Moon Empire army. After this, there seemed to be something else appearing in his eyes. He appeared to struggle a little, but soon made up his mind. Juzi, don't blame me since you're so brazen. Hua Yuao snorted coldly. He swept his right hand in front of his body. A streak of silver light flashed across the sky and revealed a silver door. Juzi was stunned. When she looked into his eyes, an indescribable fear surfaced in her heart. This was because she immediately knew what he was up to. No, don't. Juzi shouted. However, Hua Yuao's hand was already in the door. At the next moment, a boy who looked like he was 6 or 7 appeared in his hand. This boy's appearance was very sudden. However, the soldiers of the Sun Moon Empire were very astonished now. This boy was also lost. He looked at Hua Yuao before looking at his mother. He appeared confused. However, he still managed to remain calm. He was puzzled as he looked at Hua Yuao. Who are you? Why did you grab me? His train of thought was very clear. Hua Yuao, you must not hurt him. No, no. Juzi's persistence was broken because of this boy. She was almost on the verge of crying as she screamed at Hua Yuao. Hua Yuao looked coldly at her. If you can kill all life on the continent, why can't I do the same? I don't wish to use a boy to threaten you. However, don't blame me if you're using the entire continent to threaten me. As he spoke, he pulled the boy into his embrace. The boy's face was very close to Hua Yuao. He was in a daze, but he wasn't afraid. He even stretched out his hand to touch Hua Yuao's face. Hua Yuao dodged, but the boy still managed to touch him. Why do I find you so familiar? The boy asked curiously. He didn't seem to be afraid at all. After this, he turned to his mother. Mum, don't cry. This uncle smells very familiar. He won't harm me. Yes, Hua Yuao was holding the current emperor of the Sun Moon Empire, Shu Yanan. He had easily managed to find where Shu Yanan was using his spiritual detection. After that, he used his control of spatial power to capture him. This was something that Juzi didn't expect. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.